Ross and Anetta from Retro Dream Beam. I'm about to go into what we were shipping out today on Tuesday, but a little bit of a story first. So yesterday was a really bad day in sales. If like we do this full time, so if every day was yesterday, we probably wouldn't be able to do this. I think it was only like 6 items. Today, right now, I'm recording at 2 o'clock before we pack this up and ship. The stuff today already is more dollar amounts than yesterday. So yeah, it can get nerve wracking sometimes and it does frustrate me. I do know that there's going to be like good days and low days, and you just kind of have to take the punches, but it still can be definitely frustrating at times. Like it was just, there was so much silence with like the eBay offers and stuff coming in, or just any eBay motion. All right, so the first thing right here is the Russian Navy submarine model kit. This one is like Japanese or whatever. People love these model kits. People are always gonna grab all of like the World War II or just kind of anything. They'll get helicopters, cars, trains. They'll just grab anything. But yeah, I knew this one would eventually sell for slightly more than my other model kits. This sold for 16 bucks plus shipping. Everything's gonna be plus shipping. All right, next up is going to be some War Machine. These are called K-Door Winter Guard little infantry. So there's like the captain right here with his banner, and then there's the regular soldier with his like little gun and his pointing command finger. So these are the metal ones. There's metal, which are the older figures for War Machine and Hordes, and then there's the resin ones, which are kind of newer, or like not yet the newer past that type of generation thing. These ones, like the metal is kind of up to the person. Some people like the resin because they'll say it's like easier to like craft them and glue them and paint them, and other people love the metal just because like it feels better, like a girthier piece on the battlefield. These end up selling for $18.74. I always like to get the War Machine and Horde stuff, usually when I'm buying a collection from someone that just doesn't want to play the game anymore, and then I piece it out by the little troops and factions. All right, next up is going to be this thing, which is really interesting. A lot of interesting stuff today. This is Just the Right Shoe. So these are like little mock-ups of shoes. We got like a big box of these Just the Right Shoes, I think is the brand. So they're going to be like a smaller version of the shoe. I think they would come either with the shoe or like you could buy this alongside with it, something like that. I don't fully know, but we got like a huge box of them. They were just for free. Someone was going to toss them out, and then they were like, oh, maybe they'll like to sell it. So I looked them up. I'm like, sure, I'll sell them. And they've been selling slowly. Actually sold like a good amount at this point. I would say at least we got through like half of them. So yeah, this one right here sold $12. So this is a silver cloud shoe. I'm not a shoe person. That's what I had in my title. So yeah, it has like a heel and stuff. So yeah, this is like a little decoration. All right, next up is going to be Dungeons and Dragons playing card deck right here. This one's sealed. This is Demons and Devils right here. I can tell by this particular art that this is Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. They would make a bunch of extra stuff. It says 2017. Yeah, so that's 5th edition Wizards of the Coast. Nothing too fancy. I remember I got this. I think this was at a video game store. We were just randomly passing by. I think it was in another state. They had like a dollar clearance bin, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go digging. I was like, okay, cool. I was like, there's no way that I can't flip this D&D playing card deck for more than a dollar. Like a dollar should be fine. It sold for $6, so nothing too crazy, but it took me like a couple of inches to go through the clearance bin. It was funny because when I went up, the employee's like, oh, I didn't know that was in there, or else I would have bought it. I'm like, I don't know. I didn't tell them I was going to put it on eBay, but maybe I should have, man. Then it would have gone back to them. I would have shipped it. That would have been great. All right, next up is a Ross University bag. No, this is not Ross for me. I forget what where this is and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not really cultured about that. But yeah, there's a little bit of dirt here that needs to be washed. I mentioned that in the listing. We do like to collect little handbags and reusable bags, as well as we do like to list the ones with like specific brands, colleges, yeah, like anything, honestly. So yeah, this ended up selling for $10.79. All right, which is pretty good for a bag, especially because it needs a little bit of cleaning. Moving along, we have this Exalted RPG book right over here. I have a decent amount of Exalted stuff. I don't know too much about it. It's by White Wolf Game Studios over here. It kind of looks like a fantasy, but mixed with like superhero, but I think it's definitely more fantasy. It says they call it the comic book series. I'm reading in the back right here. So yeah, people love different types of RPG books. The Exalted stuff, we have some of it listed, and then it does slowly sell, $20.25. So I figured it's more niche because it doesn't sell as fast. But that's pretty good for an RPG book, the $20. Like a long time ago, we got a bunch of RPG books at bulk. I still have like 4 bins to go through, but a lot of them were like duplicates. So I was waiting for some of them to sell to then just, relist a new one with new pictures, because there was going to be some like, there might be like a little rip in a certain page. I need to I can't just like resell the same picture or like sell similar in the item and resell it. I have to take new pictures. I'll eventually get around to that. But yeah, that's pretty good for like those RPG books I got. All right, next up we have another book right here, Warfare in the Classical World. Right here, like a historical book. It's gonna have a bunch of like photos and information, and they're like colored arts and stuff for it. Super cool thing. People like this kind of stuff. This ended up going for $13.49. Yeah, a couple of books today. It's pretty good. Actually, more books. We also have the Sweet Valley Twins, 3 of these. This is number 15, 28, and 23. We probably spent like $1 on each of these, so this wasn't a really good flip. We ended up selling this one for $6.89 for this lot of 3. Anetta knows the whole like meta for like which ones of these, like the girl teenage mystery slash drama books are good. I think she talked about some of like the detective ones, or like she knows when she's out in the wild about which ones to pick up. I don't know about this stuff. I'll know more about like, I'll definitely take a look at it when I see like the nostalgic books that people used to read. I'll definitely like see the price that people are asking, and then think about like what kind of lots I can make. I know Goosebumps more than like Sweet Valley Twins, but yeah, the $6.89, not the craziest flip. Like I said yesterday, was we only had like 6 items, and these were like some of the $6.89, the $6 or the like low value sales. It's still good to like move this stuff. This is stuff normally it's kind of like in my head the fries of like the whole meal. So you're hoping to like have some good meats and potato sales, and then you get some like throw-ins where it's like, oh, these took me like a minute to list. It's very easy and they were cheap. All right, and then last up for the day is Star Wars: The Rise of the Skywalker. This is a Sith trooper right here from one of the newer movies. We saw them once each. I've seen all the Star Wars movies, I think exactly one time. It was okay. It's really nostalgic for a lot of people. I know a lot of people love Star Wars in general. I'm more of Lord of the Rings, but yeah, I'm super aware that people love the Star Wars stuff. The new stuff's kind of like okay. So this came from an auction where I'll do these online auctions, and there's usually people that will put like 10 or 20 action figures or toys in the thing, and they usually start at a minimum bid $10. And I'm always like, I guess I can. And there's always like one bait figure, right? There's always one figure it's probably like 15 or 20 or 25, and it's trying to get people to bid up the thing. People usually pass up on these things, so I usually do the minimum bid of $10. I'm like, yeah, I'll deal with it for $10. Like they do take up like a good amount of space, in the storage. They do kind of sell, like this one sold only for $8, but I know that we got like 20 action figures for $10 because, like I said, I'll put the minimum bid, and then no one else bids against me. And then I get the bait figure, and then I get to sell the bait figure, make the money, and then all the rest is just kind of like extra money that slowly trickles in. More fries, if that makes sense. All right. So yeah, that's super cool. I kept it in a baggie to make sure it doesn't get like, my baggie wasn't actually tall enough to be able to seal this, which is kind of annoying. That's everything. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Hope everyone's having a good start to their week.